Hey friends, thanks for stopping by my YouTube video. I really appreciate you being here as always. So today we're going to continue with our recomposition sort of series, if you will. Hopefully you checked out my last video. If not, go watch it and then come on back to this one. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Feel free to drop a like or like a comment. I really appreciate your engagement. If you have any questions, let me know. So to continue with our recomposition sort of series, yesterday I sort of talked about two things to focus on. Where are you right now and what is it that you want most? So I brought up that there was like a lot of different ways that you could go. There's a lot of different things that you could discuss when it comes to the subject of recomposition. So what I wanted to touch on today is just sort of that piece about the time that it takes to invest in sort of we'll say like an athlete, or maybe not necessarily an athlete that's like super well trained. I guess more particularly an athlete that's more well trained or has more experience. But I mean, this can apply to pretty much anyone. So even a novice athlete, kind of looking at that long-term plan, like what are your goals, and then what are you prepared to do? So often what happens is we have people, I think we really see this a lot actually in the sort of the fitness and nutrition world. We want those like really like quick fixes. We want things to change really fast. We could have spent 35, 40 years doing absolutely like nothing and then be like, I'm going to invest 3 months and I'm going to do this 30-day challenge and have this sort of really unrealistic vision of sort of what we want to accomplish with no regard for what actually goes into like building muscle, and sort of recomping your body, if you will. So let's talk a little bit about that. So again, if you're someone that has really like never done anything, you're very novice, as I mentioned in the last video, you can really make a lot of changes very quickly. So you can sort of see that simultaneously, gain some muscle, lose some body fat, make some really big changes. But if you're someone that is like really kind of thinking, you already carry some muscle, you decide I'm going to lose some body fat, and then where do I go from here? Well, I want to gain some more muscle. This is where I think people can tend to have like unrealistic expectations. It's hard to gain lean muscle. It takes time to gain that tissue, and typically you are going to gain a little bit of fat mass when you're doing that. And what that means is, we need to eat more. We need to invest in gaining that muscle. So calories need to be in a little bit of a surplus over and above like what your required your energy requirement is, just to stay the same. So we typically look at about a 10 to 15, maybe a 20% surplus to help you put some muscle on. So you've got to hang out there. You've got to stay there. You've got to be in that building phase for a while. And I think this is where people really struggle to exist. There's just that fear of gaining weight, which is unfortunate. And so you just kind of have people that stay stuck. Like they really never gain the muscle that they're after because they're too afraid to get bigger and to gain that fat mass. So they might start it and then they'll stop like 2 months, 3 months in. Oh, that's the most, like I just can't see the scale go up anymore. And I sympathize. I understand that there's like this sort of there's a stigma with getting bigger, and especially if you're so focused on being lean, it can be tough. But ultimately, it is an investment. So time. So you need to take some time to like eat more, exist at maintenance, and then you need to take some time to like eat more, exist in a surplus, and actually do the work to build the muscle. And be okay with, seeing your body change and getting a little bit bigger. That looks different for everybody. Certainly, some people can gain muscle a bit quicker. There are people certainly that use pharmaceuticals to help them put it on even faster. So I'm talking obviously about athletes that want to gain lean muscle naturally. That's going to take some time. So if you're looking at like, if that's you, if you're someone that's like not in that novice phase, you're someone that's like kind of been in the game for a while, then it's time, and you're thinking you want to gain some muscle, and you're kind of mapping that out, it's looking like you're going to need to be in a caloric surplus, and you're going to invest some time, and potentially training might change a little bit too to help you reach those goals. Gaining muscle is not going to be eating in a surplus and running a lot or doing a ton of cardio. You got to get in the gym and you got to lift some weight, and potentially look at that training program that looks at things like progressive overload, mechanical tension, making sure that you're doing the things that you need to put the tissue on your body. And then once you've done that and you've kind of put on that muscle and you've measured your progress and you're kind of ready to go to the next phase, then it might look like, okay, now I'm ready to sort of like cut a little bit of weight, go into a deficit, see what my body looks like, how I feel, how I perform. If it's just pure aesthetic goals, fine. If it's related to performance, see, has it changed your performance? Then you're going to exist for a while in maintenance before you really do anything else again, whether that's go back into a surplus or just stay in maintenance. It's very cyclical. So it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. Building muscle takes time. And as I said, if you are that experienced athlete that's wanting to recomp, it takes time. So next time, what we'll chat about is a little bit, we'll dive into that sort of performance piece. So, I want to like lose some body fat, but I'm really concerned about my performance and what that might look like. Again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything that I have not covered, and I'd love to answer those questions and definitely give me some ideas for future videos. Thanks, guys.